All right, we're back and we're going to talk about anxiety and depression and what is its relationship with the gut microbiome that we spoke about a few videos ago. So we're going to kind of start at the beginning. I want to recap a few things so that you understand. And if all this information on here on this board looks like kind of a mess, in a few moments you'll have it down pat and you'll be able to take the test. Just kidding, there's no test, all right? All right, the microbiome in the gut, you know how important it is, but what I'm going to talk about are neurotransmitters. Primarily glutamate and GABA, those particular neurotransmitters there. First off, what is a neurotransmitter? In the simplest form, it allows a nerve to send a signal. The signal hits the end of the nerve and stimulates a transmitter, neurotransmitter, because it's in the brain area there, or in the peripheral nervous system also, and that jumps a cleft to the next nerve to continue the signal. Essentially, it's a medium by which a way to send a signal from one place to another. Obviously, it's extremely important because if I'm thinking that I want to move my index finger on my right hand and I don't have a transmitter to send the signal there, it's not going to work. Okay? So that's a real important issue there. For the glutamate is the one we're going to talk about first. And glutamate is an excitatory neurotransmitter. So when it sends its signal or when it binds with something, it causes excitation. Okay? It's produced by indirectly by the metabolism, what is known as the citric acid cycle, which is inside the cell. This is why the citric acid cycle and metabolism, this is part of the reason why the metabolism in the cell is so important. And it is also a precursor to GABA. Okay, so GABA is over here, glutamate is over here. Excitatory, inhibitory. Now GABA is an inhibitory neurotransmitter, and it inhibits excitation / anxiety. Okay, so here we have a situation where they both have to work together. If you have too much glutamate, you're going to have anxiety. Okay, if you have too much GABA, you're going to be depressed. I mean, this is real simple. And a lot of this happens in the gut. Okay, you've got to have your microbiome working properly. So there has to be a balance between the two of those. One of the biggest issues is with people that we see here in the office is that glutamate, or the transformation of glutamate to GABA, or the production of GABA, the inhibitory neurotransmitter, can be affected by GAD65, okay? Or you need to have GAD65 in order to have that to happen. Gluten, which unfortunately is just about in everything today, but especially cakes, bread, if it's in a bag or if it's boxed, chances are you shouldn't have anything to do with it. Okay? Those products contain gluten. One other thing I want to mention here, a lot of people go on a gluten-free diet and they think they're going to lose weight. No. Okay? I mean, you might, all right, but that's not the purpose of a gluten-free eating habit or lifestyle. The purpose of it is to just get the gluten out of there so it doesn't cause these kind of problems, because it inhibits GAD65 in the formation of GABA from glutamate. And if that's the case, then you have nothing that is inhibiting excitation, so you're going to have anxiety. Okay, I'm sure that makes a lot of sense to you. Okay, another thing that is really important that destroys part of this process is this: glycophosphates, and those are found in fertilizers and weed killers. Okay, like Roundup. We always talk about Roundup. Roundup has got glycophosphates in it. What it does, it inhibits magnesium and manganese in the process of the conversion of glutamate to glutamine and from glutamate to GABA. Okay? And again, you'll get anxiety, possibly depression, depending on what side of the reaction it goes to. So those are all in your weed killers, your Roundup, any of your weed killers. It probably has glycophosphates in it. It also, okay. Now, some other facts that are really important. The gut biome, okay, the bacteria in your gut produces GABA for you. That's part of it. Now, you can get this from foods too. The glutamate and so on. Meat, fish, tomatoes, and walnuts, okay? Those are good sources of these products, all right? Various strains of infection can produce problems with the gut bacteria. There's a number of those. It could be SIBO and some of these other things. Most importantly, antibiotics. Here's, think it through just for a moment. Antibiotic, okay? Antimicrobiome, all right? What they do is they kill bacteria that is causing a disease. The problem with that is it's not selective. It's going to kill everything within your body. And you need that microbiome to digest foods, to produce GABA, to do a variety of other things that it's supposed to do. All right, you've got to have that. So if you've had antibiotics, you definitely need to be taking a probiotic. Okay, stay away from gluten. That's really important. And minerals. This is real important because you've got to have manganese and you've got to have magnesium in these reactions in order for this to act properly. Most of our foods are highly depleted in minerals because all they do is use the fertilizers and so on. This is a great source of minerals. This is Fulham Earth Water. Personally, I like this a lot. We take it. I have one a day and it works extremely well. I get a good source of minerals from that. And especially make sure that you are taking your antibiotics, even if you haven't had, your probiotics, even if you haven't had antibiotics recently. If you're eating chicken or beef, or fish for that matter, that's farm raised, that's the biggest source or the biggest sale of antibiotics anywhere. Okay, because they want to keep the disease out of the fish, out of the chickens and so on. And the chicken and the beef and the fish is full of antibiotics when you buy it and you eat that. So it destroys that microbiome. It's right there in the store. So in any event, we have one more video that we're going to do, and we're going to sum these things up for you. And the answer to the riddle from last time is, well, the question was, what is black and white and red all over? Isn't that what the question was? I believe it was. Yeah, it's a newspaper. A lot of you young people, if you're watching this, you'll have no concept of what I'm talking about. Okay, what a newspaper is. All righty. Thanks. We'll see you again soon.